Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to memorize about 5 to 6 pages within 45 minutes of first seeing that piece of information. Now I'm someone who can't even remember what I had for breakfast, so if I can learn 5 to 6 pages, then you can too. And to put that in context, for example, if you made notes on mathematics, you could summarize your maths whole syllabus for GCSE in about 10 pages. Likewise for A-level. So that's about half of your whole course memorized in about 50 minutes. Before we dive into this method, let's first review the different methods that you can use for memorization. Here are 4 methods that we should consider as effective methods of memorization. Number 1, you've got flashcards. So these are little cards where you have a question and an answer, and you go away and memorize these. You may put them by your bedside or something along those lines. Number 2, you've got mnemonics, a long list where you turn it into a useful, memorable quote, useful, memorable phrase. For example, the electromagnetic spectrum. So Richard of York gave battle in vain. Wait, that's the light spectrum. Number 3, memory palace. Now this one gets a lot of attention from YouTubers, study YouTube, the gurus. Hey, go away and make a memory palace and you'll be able to recall everything. Ooh. Well, I'm here to break it to you that this is quite an advanced technique and most students struggle to do this. This is a very, very advanced technique, the memory palace. It is really effective and world champions use this when they play in memory competitions, but I think it's an overkill, to be frankly honest with you. I've achieved top grades, my students have achieved top grades. I know many of my friends have achieved top grades and none of them ever needed to use a memory palace. This is important to recognize. Whilst this is an effective technique, we won't be talking about this today because it's just an overkill. You don't need it and it takes too long to learn in the first instance. So we'll ignore all of these 3 and we're actually going to look at a 4th one. And this is called rote learning or verbatim. And this is the one that I want to talk about today, but not in the conventional sense that you might know rote learning. So let me break down a few myths and a few steps that you need to take to successfully be able to use this to memorize in 45 minutes. I actually learned this technique while I was in year 3. I had to memorize 3 sides of mushrooms. Yeah, I had to learn 3 sides of a book about mushrooms and the different types of mushrooms that exist. Yeah, as you may have guessed, this wasn't the UK syllabus. I was actually studying in Pakistan and this is the norm over there, or at least it used to be whilst I was studying there. And what you had to do, you had to ridiculously memorize things which were completely irrelevant to your life. But it taught me the method of what's called ROTE. Of course, ROTE translates into rote learning in English. So if you're about the ROTE life, drop a like and subscribe. Now, of course, this concept is so alien to US students and UK students. This is almost heresy to talk about memorizing something using rote learning. Nowadays everything has to be play and has to be fun and memory palaces and blah blah blah. I believe this technique is the most effective out of all the techniques because it's A, it's simple, and B, it can be done at a rapid pace where you can learn a huge amount of information. And that's our main aim here. We want to find a technique which you can use quickly and effectively. Okay, we want to front load our brain with a lot of information we can dump out into the exam and get the top grades. So here are 7 steps to make sure your ROTE technique is on point. Step 1, read the text, cover it up and write it down. Now, sounds obvious, but a lot of students mistake this and think that it's about reading it, covering it, and then saying it in your head. No. Listen carefully. I said, write it down. This is very important so you can etch into your brain the very information that you are trying to learn. Yeah, so writing down adds that extra layer and that's very important. Number 2, write fast. This means as fast as your hand allows. If you think a certain speed is the fastest you can write, trust me, you can go further than that. Your brain is generally blocking you from pushing your hand to that next level. So break that barrier and go to the next level of speed. You don't have a lot of time left till your exams, so you want to cut this down as fast as you can. So the faster you write, the more you will learn in the same space of time. Number 3, make sure it's not neat. You're thinking, all my teachers always tell me, write neatly. I've been told this since primary school. Well, you're correct, but not for rote learning. For rote learning, you have to write the scruffiest you can write. Yeah, that's right. This is an example of not scruffy enough. This is an example of A1 quality for ROTE. Again, this point relates to the previous one about writing fast. The scruffier you write, the faster you will be able to write. And remember, you'll never ever use this paper again anyway, so no point writing neatly. It's not like you're going to stick this on your wall. I used to get through reams of notepads using this technique, and that notepad used to go straight in the bin. Ideally get a recycled paper because you're going to be going through tons and tons once you realize how effective this technique is. As long as you know what you're writing, that's fine. In ROTE, you don't need to be able to see what you're writing. In the real exam, of course, you can write slowly and take your time and make it beautiful and make it the next Mona Lisa. Fantastic. You do you. Number 4, memorize only 3 to 4 items max. Now our brain remembers items in chunks of 3 to 5 items. So if you ever got a shopping list and it's got 20 things on the shopping list, it's very difficult to memorize all 20 in one go. So the best way to do that is to break it down into about 3 to 4 items. Okay, so try to find a sweet spot and make it around 3 to 4 items. This way you can memorize small chunks at a time. Number 5, so these small 3 to 5 item chunks, when you are learning these separately, so you learn five items here, 5 items here, 3 items here, 5 items here, and so on, you need to start linking these chunks together. And the link between the two chunks is a very crucial part. That's often the weakest part, where a student can't go from, say, item 5 to item 6 because it's on a different chunk and your brain hasn't managed to link and bridge those neurons together. So it's very important that you periodically review all of these chunks and put them together and smooth out these rough edges between the different chunks. Now, if you're trying to memorize like the whole page or 5 pages in one go, you ain't going to be done in 45 minutes. You ain't going to be done in 10 hours. Yeah? So this chunking is very important. Number 6, if you hesitate, start again. Even for a second. So for example, if I'm doing 11 times 11 equals 121, and if I do 11 times 12 and I say 132, okay, I got to it, but because there was that little pause, then you've got to start again. You've got to go again until you can write it down 4 or 5 times in a row without hesitation. It has to come like this. You should literally be able to see the answer straight away. Yeah, you should be able to see like a visual picture of your writing, and you should be able to see it straight away. So if you have to hesitate even a little bit, make sure you go back to the original and check what it is and then write it down. If you hesitate and you carry on thinking, oh, it's fine, I only waited 1 second. No, this technique is not going to work. Each of these steps have to be followed meticulously. Number 7, if your hand doesn't hurt, you've not done this properly. Your hand needs to be hurting by the end of this, and I mean seriously hurting, like the kind of pain that you'd get when you go to the gym. Yeah, this is real hard work. In 45 minutes, if your hand didn't hurt, then you didn't do the technique properly. Here's a quick demo showing how to memorize the indices rules in GCSE and also applicable to A-levels. This, you could see I begin with memorizing 1 line at a time. I have numbered them all to help me retain them much better. If you number them, you're more likely to remember them. So I go through 1 at a time for the first few. Once I feel a bit more confident, and then I start doing them in chunks of 4 to 5 items. So you see from 5 downwards, I do it in a chunk of 5 items. And what I do then is I go back and ensure that my first 4 items are joined up with the next 5 items to kind of almost glue them together, as I mentioned. And this is very important, especially if you're learning large chunks. This isn't a huge amount. This is only 9 items, and you could probably memorize this in like a few minutes. But if you're learning large chunks, you definitely need to glue them together where you have these gaps. So you can see the line that I've drawn just to kind of indicate where the gap might occur, where you're likely to mess up on, and you work from there. And you would have seen, if you go back and have a look where I hesitate, I kind of stop and redo that part. And that's, again, very important. So hopefully this demo kind of explains to you how this all comes into practice. Finally, I'd just like to say this is just theory. And of course, you have to do the practice to unleash the beast within you, right? So practice is what's going to improve your efficacy of this technique. Don't kind of give up the first time when, your results are not exactly the same as mine. It will take a bit of time to get used to it, but this has got the fastest learning curve of all the techniques, and it's got the biggest returns. So why on earth would you not try this? If you have any questions about this technique, if something's not clear, do drop me a message and I'll be happy to respond. That's it for now, guys. I'll see you next time.